guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to be doing an update or part 7 to the extremely popular series, Wife Manipulated Husband into an Open Relationship and He Manipulated Her into the Ultimate Divorce. And guys, I know a lot of you guys have been eagerly awaiting this guy's update. He sent this to me yesterday, so I'm rushing to do this today. And this, as he claims, is the final update. You've all been waiting for him to boot out his wife, and that's what he's done here. So we're doing this in part 7 here. This is the longest series I've ever done. So ordinarily I do a recap, but given that at this point you guys know what's going on, I'm just going to jump right into the story, continue on like I did left off last time. And if you're new to this video, go back and start with part 1 I started about a month ago. You'll definitely enjoy it. So, part 7. He says, "Hello SSM. This should be my final update. I've heard that before. My apologies for its length. Hopefully you'll find my experience and this update useful to your viewers. Thanks to you and your community for all the support and advice. I could have gotten through this without you. That's what we're here for, brother, and we appreciate you taking the time to write and share your story. My discovery of Ada's cheating has been painful, but it would have been much more painful and confusing without your help and the support of you and the community. I know I had some smacks coming to me in this update, but I also think I did some things right. With the help of you and your audience, I think I've done more right than wrong. Please let me know what you think. Brother, you can always count on me and the community letting you know what we think, for better or for worse. Just to reintroduce myself and the others, my name is Jerry and my wife's name is Ada. We're both 31. My friend with benefits is Kathy, 27 years old, and the three of us have been living together now for just about 2 months now. Here is the 45-day update. My attorney has filed our divorce agreement with the court. If all goes well, I'll be divorced by January 2024 at the latest. Today is July 29th, and I've had some time this morning to finish writing this update of Ada, Kathy, and me. Just as a reminder, my plan is to get through my divorce with the divorce agreement Ada and I signed. This is a great agreement for me. It will go through without a hitch unless Ada contests the divorce agreement and gets a judge involved. My lawyer says we should all win against an attempt to open the divorce agreement by Ada. But we don't want a hearing before a judge. We don't want a judge delaying and messing with my divorce process and settlement. Yeah, you definitely don't want the judge involved because she'll start crying and with your luck you'll get a freaking male judge and you all know what will happen there. I need to keep Ada believing there's a chance of reconciliation. Not just for 45 days any longer. Those 45 days are over now. Now I have to keep her believing there's a chance of reconciling for the next 4 or 5 months until the divorce is final. Good luck with that, man. The carrot that I'll continue to put in front of Ada is that there's hope we'll be back together, but we must divorce first. If this tactic doesn't work, there's also a stick. We'll talk about the stick later. I installed a camera within a week of my wife Ada leaving with her lover, Roger, and then returning the next day hoping to reconcile with me. I've learned a lot from the camera. Ada had a 2-month affair with her boss, Andy, almost as soon as she started working at the job that I made her quit. After Andy, she moved on to a guy named Jonah. That lasted 2 years and ended with the guy moved away in 2016. She just can't keep her hands to herself and she can't keep her legs not spreading for somebody else. And by the way, guys, you can probably hear my voice. My allergies are killing me today. Major change in the weather. But I know you guys want to hear this as soon as possible, so I'm getting through this update, so bear with me. These guys I learned about by listening to their conversations between Ada and Kathy. Her last affair with Roger, I learned about because Ada brought him to the condo and tried to bang him in front of me, wanting to open our marriage. That was all, I believe, part 2. Kathy, my friends with benefits, seems determined to learn all about Ada's affairs. I did a long session at the gym last Sunday morning. Ada and Kathy were eating breakfast and sitting around drinking coffee, and here's what was on the video feed. Now you're about to hear this long thing about what was going on between Ada and Kathy, what they were revealing, all that. Ada and Kathy spent some time talking about some of Kathy's current and Ada's former co-workers. Ada asked Kathy what was the latest with her ex. Kathy said he comes by the bar Kathy goes to with her co-workers after work. He wants to get back with her or hook up or something. Kathy said she isn't sure what he wants. Ada said, why don't you hook up with him? And Ada's sure Kathy wants to. If Ada isn't hooking up with some dude, she certainly wants everybody else to be hooking up with other dudes. Kathy said she wasn't persuaded. She wanted to get involved with him again. and it would cause problems with me. After all, Kathy told Ada, it may be friends of benefits, but Kathy and I are essentially living together. I've just been cheated on by Ada. Kathy doesn't want to add any more pain. Ada said Kathy should just hook up with her ex and not tell me. Ada's doing this on purpose because obviously you're sleeping with Kathy and all that, and she hates that, of course. Kathy looked at her and said, I don't do that, Kat. I don't do that. Her ex is on hold. She's not going to do anything with him until she's decided what she wants and finds out what's going to happen between Kathy and me. Kathy smiled and said that okay, Ada is up to Ada is up to date on her ex. Now it's Ada's turn. Ada left off when Jonah moved away. Bear with me, guys. I'm reading this as he wrote this. That was in 2016, right? Who did Ada take up with next? Ada said no one until Roger, but smiled. Kathy said BS and asked again who. Ada said there were a few coworkers over the years, but they're all gone before Kathy was hired. Morgue dudes. Attention and validation, guys. And she also she cannot go 5 minutes without have some dude's sausage in her. None of the hookups were serious and didn't last very long. Just something to do. Just something to do? Join a freaking boxing class or something, or take up something other than sausage tasting. Ada said her longest relationship was someone who wasn't a coworker. One night at the bar, when they were at work, there was a younger guy Ada had never seen before. This was in late 2017 or early 2018. He was with two of his friends. It turns out they were all police officers out for a drink after their shift. Anyway, Ada said this guy was hot, so she went after him. They ended up at the back seat of the friend's car, parked in the street around the block from the bar. She's hooking up with a cop in the back seat of the patrol car. I feel so bad for this dude telling this story, that she's married to this serial cheater. I mean, she must be a freaking nympho or something. Not to mention compulsive liar and a sociopath. Ada said she'd forgotten from the times in high school how uncomfortable having SCX in the car is. It was cold, people were walking by, and they were humping like teenagers in the back seat. Never again. From then on, only hotel rooms. Ada is garbage. The only place she belongs is in an alley humping whoever is the latest guy. Kathy asked how old was the guy, and Ada said he had to be at least 21 years old to get into the bar. Probably not much older than that, maybe 22 or 23. Ada said it was a strange relationship. The cop knew that Mondays and Thursdays were the nights that Ada was most likely to be at the bar. He'd sporadically show up at the bar, wait just inside the front door until Ada noticed him. Then they would go to the hotel. She never knew when he was coming. Ada asked him once if he wanted her cell phone number so they could plan their meetings, and he told her no. He didn't want her to call him. And you know what? Ada probably liked that. The excitement, the mystery, the challenge, all that. And mind you, this guy learned all this by the cameras recording their conversations. Kathy was getting it out of her. Anyway, Ada figured he didn't want Ada's number because then she'd have his number. Ada assumed he was married and didn't want incriminating conversations on his phone. Ada said she didn't care if he was married. She made sure she was at the bar every Monday and Thursday so she'd be there if he came for her. They would never talk about anything substantial. She'd lead him to the hotel and the room. They had SCX and then he was gone. She knew his name and that he was a cop, and that's just about all about it. Just a purely S-word relationship. It lasted until the spring of 2022. When he was getting dressed in the hotel room, he told Ada he was getting married in 2 weeks and that he wouldn't be back to see her again. What a scumbag. He wanted to be faithful to his bride. Oh, for God's sakes. And yet, this dude's engaged to his woman, and he's been cheating on her left and right, but he's going to be a good man now that he's married. And she never saw him again. After that, she took up with Roger. Kathy asked what Ada would do if she saw the cop in the street. Ada said she would have taken his hand and asked him if he knew where their nearest hotel was. But not anymore. Not after she came back from Rogers and saw how I acted. Now she only wants to be with me. Yeah, she's ready to be a good and loyal wife now because her track record, forget her track record. Their conversation turned to Roger. Ada asked if Kathy heard anything more about his condition. Kathy said her coworker who lived in Roger's apartment building says he didn't make bail. Roger's living in the jail infirmary between surgeries. He refused bail or he couldn't raise bail. Kathy's not sure which. But Roger feels safe in the infirmary. While he's in jail, evidently his medical costs are covered. Your tax dollars at work. What a load of bullshit. Well, that Roger guy got what he deserved, and he's going to get what he deserves. Kathy asked if Ada had been in touch with Roger, and Ada said no. She can't imagine why she ever got involved with him. Ada said she didn't know what she saw in Roger. He's not a sliver of the man I am. She got involved with him because he was the guy all the other women were hooking up with, even though he was just a fucking piece of shit, like physically and personality-wise. Ada said that she was surprised by my reaction when she returned from spending the night with Roger. Ada said she fell in love with me almost the moment we met 10 years ago. I was kind, considerate, loving, and just wanted to make her happy. I did make her happy. She felt safe and secure with me. I would always take care of her and always love her. Yeah, she felt safe with you. It didn't mean she wanted to be with you, because in her eyes, you doing all that, although it provided her a nice life and security, you weren't drawing her in. You didn't excite her, because she needed a guy that treated her like dog shit to excite her. Kathy said, then why the other guys? And Ada said it wasn't enough. She needed the excitement. There you go, the excitement. And if she wasn't getting the excitement, then she'd want somebody with security. So they're never happy. Ada went on, when she walked in the door after being with Roger, I was a different person. Her good guy was gone. I wouldn't listen to her BS. I shut her up. I told her what I wanted, and if Ada didn't do it, I wanted, she was out the door. There was no discussion, just orders. It was like I no longer cared about Ada at all. Kathy asked if Ada expected me to welcome her back from Rogers with a big hug and a kiss. Ada said she knew I was upset, but Ada said she thought she'd be able to convince me, since I was sleeping with Kathy, that it's only fair to sleep with other men, beginning with Roger. I loved her and wouldn't want to wreck the marriage. Also, I wouldn't want to give up Kathy. Eventually, we would go back to being a happy married couple, but one with an open relationship. Again, this was her evil plan. Ada continued, think back to how I acted the morning after Kathy and I slept together the first time. I was terrified that Ada would divorce me, talking about our needing marriage counseling and getting rid of Kathy. Ada said Ada, set the whole thing up, and I was the one apologizing to her. Yeah, you all remember that. I think that was part 2, I think. I can't remember, so long. Yeah, he was apologizing for it, even though she set the whole thing up. And I was like, what the hell are you apologizing for? She's the one that set this up. It's obvious. That I was frightened of losing Ada. Ada figured she could push things and I might get upset and angry, but it wouldn't last long and she'd get what she wanted, open marriage. But Ada said I went from her gentle, loving, kind husband to an angry monster who told her to get out. That I was a completely changed person. Ada told Kathy that she was shocked. What happened to my husband? And Ada said she got really turned on. Ada told Kathy she watched my lips while I was telling her what she had to do, and she could barely focus on my words. She just kept imagining my lips on her body. In other words, she was turned on by this guy ordering her around, not taking her bullshit and laying down the law. Shocker. Ada said she was never more attracted to me sexually as when I sat her down and told her what my plans were. They didn't include Ada. She was stunned and aroused. Even more than wanting to save our marriage, Ada continued, she just wanted to F me. Right then and there. She was dirty, tired, disgusting when she got home from Rogers, but she had an intense drive to take me to the bedroom. Again, this is when he was laying down the law. Or do it right there on the couch. She would have done anything I said. Tell her parents to quit her job, sign a divorce agreement with any provisions I asked for. Well, that's what she did. And anything else I could think of. Anything I wanted from Ada was mine. Ada said she felt like what she felt like when meeting a guy she knew was going to sleep with her for the first time. Excitement, anticipation, overwhelming desire. She said she was seeing me for the first time. Yep, she was loving every minute of that. When I ordered her to take a shower, Ada said she hoped I would take her by the arm, lead her to the shower, undress her, and scrub every inch of her body. She even asked if she could give me a hug because she had the crazy idea that she could transfer some of the excitement she was feeling to me. Of course, I wouldn't hug her. She had to take care of herself in the shower. I think she's a nympho. Ada finished this conversation by saying, I'll do anything he says to stay with him. He's the only man I need. I get hot just thinking about him, now just hearing his voice. Now, some of you may be thinking she probably knows about the camera and is putting on a show, but I actually, after knowing how this whole thing goes, she obviously does not, because she ends up revealing a lot of things that hurt her here. But she's just a big mouth who likes to talk. And Kathy's having a good old time digging it out of her. This conversation took place 2 days before Ada had to move out. I guess she was forthcoming with Kathy because, as far as Ada knew, Kathy had not told me about any of Ada's conversations. I hadn't confronted Ada with any of this, so she probably thought Kathy was keeping her secrets. If that's what Ada thought, she was right. Kathy told me none of this. She said she would and didn't. Not good. Ada thought I was a different man from the husband that she knew 45 days earlier and met 10 years ago. I didn't change my hairstyle. I wasn't in any better shape. My you-know-what didn't get any bigger. I didn't have plastic surgery. The only difference is the way I treated Ada. There you go. It's all about your attitude, how you treat them. You put them on a pedestal or you don't. You check them or you don't, amongst many other things. I made it clear that I wasn't going to put up with any more of her nonsense. I didn't care what she said or wanted. She was nothing to me. What changed is how Ada viewed me. Interesting conversation. They all said they want a nice, complacent, agreeable good guys who they are so in love with and they'll do anything they want. I guess not. Listening to Ada was quite eye-opening. Listening to Ada revealed everything that I've known for a long time about women, as many of you guys know about women, but the narrative teaches guys the exact opposite. And God forbid if guys think that, then they're the big supervillains. It is what it is, guys. You get the ugly truth on this channel. Ada's 45 days were up on July 25th. The prior Thursday morning, the 20th, I told Ada that we need to talk when I get home from work. I asked Kathy if she could give us a couple of hours alone after work. She said sure. She'd go for drinks and be home around 7:30 or 8 o'clock. Perfect. The camera in the living room would record everything. So here we go, guys. We've been waiting for when he basically sits her down and says to get your fucking ass out of the house. When I got home that Thursday night, Ada was all made up and wearing her sexiest dress. Not her usual t-shirts and shorts. Her dress was very short with lots of cleavage, showing off her assets. She knows I love her in that dress. She was as beautiful as I've ever seen her. She looked as young and fresh as the day we met 10 years ago. I asked Ada if she was going out on a date. She said, of course not. She got dressed up for me. But she said we could go on a date if I wanted. She was willing to do anything I wanted. She smiled and winked. I asked her to sit on the couch. She pulled her dress up and sat next to me, her thighs touching. She has great legs, and she knows it. The dress was pulled up all the way past her underwear. It was distracting. I guess that was the point. That's exactly what the point was. And by the way, she has great legs, and she's a good-looking piece of ass, but guess what? You got 4 billion women on the planet. She's easily replaceable. I told her to move over or something. She moved it a little bit over and faced towards me with our knees touching. She put her hand way up on my thigh and looked at me with her full attention. I asked her to move her hand. She said she could put it anywhere else if I wanted. I told her we're not doing this. We're going to talk, not fuck. She looked at me as if she was the most innocent person in the world, like that never crossed her mind. Dude, you don't even want to know what's crossing her mind. She put her hand on my forearm and said she hadn't thought of that, but it might be more fun than talking. Maybe we should do that and then talk. She raised her eyebrows in a questioning look. Don't even think about it, dude. I got up and sat in the recliner next to the couch to get away from her. She got up and sat on the arm of the recliner. Her dress was now up over her hips. I told her to get back on the couch. She said if we're going to talk, could she go first? I repeated that she needed to get back on the couch. She said to let her have her say, and then we'll return to the couch. I told her to go ahead. She slid a little closer to me on the arm of the recliner, so her hip was touching my leg. She was almost in my lap. I was getting turned on. Smack! That's why you keep her away from you. She said she thinks the best thing for us is to go back to where we were before Roger effed everything up. No, you effed everything up, not only with Roger, but your years and years and years of cheating on me from the beginning. Remember, guys, you rushed into a marriage with her and all that, and I told him not to fucking do that. And he knows that. You effed everything up, not Roger or anybody else. Her, Kathy, and me sleeping together. She didn't like the idea of me sleeping with Kathy, but she could live with it, and she pointed out it'd be twice the fun for me. She didn't think Kathy would mind. She thought that was the best way to go forward for now. She, of course, would not be seeing any other men. Sure. She has such a great history of being honest. Just to mess with her, I thought about telling her that Kathy and I were in an exclusive relationship, and I'm not a cheater. But she would know that wasn't true. Instead, I told her that is not going to happen. Ada asked, why don't we try for a while and see if it works? I really did love the three of us together in bed for the few weeks we did that. It was twice the fun for me. I asked her if there was anything else she wanted to say. She asked what did I think. I told her to go back to the couch. She did, but didn't pull her dress down walking back to the couch. Ada looked back to see me that I was admiring the view. And I was. She smiled. She knew each of my buttons to push. Might have been better to do this on the phone. Dude, do not put yourself in a situation where you know you can be easily manipulated. But I know how this ends, so you hold together. But she's trying all her tricks. I told Ada that I wanted a divorce and that she had to leave the following Tuesday, the 45th day. Hallelujah! I said I'd like to remain on good terms with her, but I don't feel that we can reconcile, at least not now. I told that when she said that we could start the marriage anew, I thought that might work, but I couldn't do that unless we were officially ending the old marriage. I thought the best thing was to proceed with the divorce, get it finalized as soon as possible, and then maybe we could think about dating and maybe getting back together. Like starting afresh, washing away the past. We could see where we were and where we wanted to be then. I just couldn't do that right now, but I could see it maybe down the road. I was still angry with her, and it could take some time to get over the anger and the damage that she caused. Ada started crying. Well, of course. What else is she going to do? She said she would give me space and time, but we should continue to live together. We could continue solely as roommates like now or together with Kathy, whichever I wanted. Bitch, you're not hearing me. Get the fuck out. She was willing to do that, and I should also. She understood how her actions had ruined my trust and faith in her, but if we stayed together, I would see that she was serious about rebuilding that trust and faith. If we were apart, she couldn't do that. I told her that my decision was final. She had to leave. When she realized the tears weren't going to sway me, she stopped crying and became belligerent. Isn't that amazing how she could turn off the waterworks like that, and then the real her is coming out? She asked me what was she going to do now. I put her in a horrible situation. No, you've put yourself in the horrible situation. She's given up on her job because I demanded she do that. She had no place to go, no place to live. She had some money, but saved, but that it would go very fast if she wasn't working. I told her she knew the risk of quitting her job and the likelihood of us divorcing when she agreed to it and what I asked. All that was on her choice. She was unfaithful to me. That's something I can't get over in a few weeks or months. Let's see where we are after the divorce. She said that I had really robbed her of her options. Her parents were furious with her, barely speaking to her, and she didn't want to go back home and face their disapproval. Again, all because of your actions, darling. I had really put her in a bad spot. She said I never really worked on our reconciliation. I told her she knew the risk, and I'd heard her out about not divorcing. I told her she knew this day was likely coming. Let's get past the divorce and think about getting back together after that. Mind you guys, he's just saying this to get rid of her. He doesn't actually mean this. I told her I could see it possibly happening, but needed time away from her to get myself together. She also needed to get her act together too. We were not ready to be together in any way, shape, or form at this point. She asked me about Kathy. I told her not to worry about Kathy. Ada should start thinking about where she wanted to be living after Tuesday. Ada got up in a huff and went to her room. She slammed the door. Good. I didn't see her again until I got home from work the next day. And that, guys, is where I'm going to leave off here on part 7. Stop screaming. I can hear you all the way here in Massachusetts. Part 7. Part 8, finally wrapping this up because it's another 14 pages of this guy's story. We'll be in a couple hours tonight. So you all get to hear the final ending to all this before you go to bed. And he says it's a final update, but something tells me there'll be more down the road because he still has to divorce the bitch. But anyhow, part 8 come up in a couple hours. You guys will enjoy it. I will see you then.